Welcome back. If it is joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you from Lagos. A reminder of our major stories tonight. 3 suicide bombers and a member of the civilian JTF are killed in 2 separate attacks in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, appeals for patience as the investigative panel into the RAN accidental bombing gets to work. The Sultan of Sokoto, Sayyid Abubakar III, challenges religious leaders to speak against killings in the name of religion. And U.S. President Donald Trump issues an executive order for a wall to be built along the southern U.S. border with Mexico. For more now top stories and others, please visit our websites, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device and log on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. I'd like to remind you that having the Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have the Eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. The challenges in Nigeria's power sector may be enormous, but the federal government has promised to do everything necessary to overcome the setbacks. The Minister of Power and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, said this while briefing State House correspondents after the weekly Executive Council meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Oshibajo. The minister added that the council has approved the completion of the Odoguyon transmission substation in Ikorodu, Lagos, at the cost of 3.5 billion naira as part of measures to improve capacity. Our State House correspondent, Chukuma Onekwusi, reports.
After 55 years of independence, Nigeria still depends on imported generators for electricity. Nigeria, with a population of over 180 million people, has electricity that fluctuates between 5,000 megawatts and 0 megawatts. Latest report has it that while Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, sitting in for President Muhammadu Buhari, presides over the council meeting, electricity is said to have managed to come up to 2,900 megawatts. Blame the drop on vandalism of gas pipelines and huge debts to discos and gencos, a source of worry to the Minister of Power, Works and Housing.
Vandalism of pipelines is not technical. People are destroyed, they're angry. So until we resolve those behavioral issues, people collect money, are they remitting everything in a manner that is fair, even if it's not enough? So some people don't get their own share and they ask themselves, why should we continue to supply if we can't get paid?
One step the government is sure will help expand the capacity of power in the country is the completion of the substation in Ikorodu, Lagos, which has been lying fallow since 2009.
This approval was an approval to help us complete the Odogunyo substation in transmission substation in Lagos, and to also in Ikorodu in Lagos, and to provide additional transformer capacity at the substation, 260 MVA transformers, and transmission lines of 132 kV. This will complete the works in that area generally known within the power industry as Ayobo West.
Concerned citizens ask, can there be a time when Nigeria will generate at least 40,000 megawatts of electricity for its citizens, like other countries of the world, without failure? A question left for the government, the generating companies and the distribution companies to answer. Chukuma Onekwusi, Channels Television News.
Former Governor of Lagos State, Chief Bola Tinubu, has recommended the harmonization of the nation's monetary and fiscal policy as part of efforts towards restructuring the nation's economy. Speaking at a lecture on strategic leadership at the National Defense College, Abuja, the All Progressives Congress chieftain called for a realignment of trade policy with a meaningful industrial base and revitalization of the agricultural sector. He asked the federal government not to allow cheap imports undermine development of industries in sectors strategic to the nation's economic future.
Participants of Course 25 of the National Defense College converge on the conference room of the college for a lecture on strategic leadership. The guest lecturer and a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress blames the nation's economic woes on the fall in oil prices.
Strategic objective during this period, economic uncertainty must be to re-engineer the economy from bottom up. Diversify the economy base, strengthen our industrial base, modernize infrastructure, enhance agriculture, provide employment. But in the last 1,000 years of human discovery, there's nothing as crucial as for industrialization.
He outlines the lessons learned from the fight against insurgency and the threat posed by widespread poverty.
We have learned cardinal lessons from the Boko Haram crisis. First, we must govern justly and for the benefit of the people to prevent the recurrence of violent extremism in the future. Widespread poverty caused by an unjust allocation of income, wealth, and resources provide fertile ground for extremist ideology.
The commandant of the college calls on African leaders to imbibe the ideals of strategic leadership.
It is a common knowledge that our continent, Africa, and indeed Nigeria, require well-developed leadership that will help chart the urgently needed strategic direction for development.
The lecture series, which is part of the requirements for participants at the National Defense College, is aimed at producing leaders who would proffer solutions to the problems of their countries.
The Senate today continued its debate on the 2017 budget, with 30 senators taking turns to give their views on areas they feel government needs to focus on. Some of the areas top on the minds of the senators include infrastructure and agriculture.
Senators at a resumed sitting continue to discuss the 2017 budget.
Whichever way you look at it,
one after the other, they take turns to call on the federal government to look at areas that will impact directly on the common man.
Once we get the railway system right, our problem of transportation in Nigeria might be a thing of the past. And in this era of recession all around, I believe that if we are able to get appropriate fundings, particularly in the areas of taxes, we will be able to get across in this move of giving Nigerians the dividends of democracy.
And there were those who made recommendations on how the 2017 appropriation can contribute towards socio-economic development.
There has to be proper planning for youth development and employment. There also has to be proper planning for women development for us to get out of the woods.
Mr. President, I think will make a lot of difference this time around, especially having you as a medical doctor. I know that one of the landmarks and hallmarks of the 7th Assembly was the National Health Act, which was quite celebrated world over. But it's unfortunate that from 2014 to this date, a particular and important critical section of that bill has not been implemented.
Further discussions on the proposed 7 trillion naira budget is expected to continue at the upper chamber at their next sitting.
Meanwhile, the Imo State government has taken delivery of the first aircraft to kick off its own commercial airline named Imo Air. At the official launch of the new airline at the Sam Mbakwe International Airport in Owerri, the state capital, Governor Rochas Okorocha said the investment will help boost the state's economic activities and generate employment opportunities.
It's a beehive of activity at the Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport in Owerri, the Imo State capital, southeast Nigeria. The occasion is the official launch of the first aircraft in the fleet of the new state-owned flight operator, Imo Air. At about 11:45 in the morning, the aircraft lands at the airport from Lagos. For the helmsman of the state, the new airline is part of the plans and program of the administration to boost the economy of the state.
We've just inspected the premises and the work is fast going. We're hoping that by April this work will be completed, and we're looking forward to seeing the first cargo plane coming from anywhere in this world, be it China or America, into Imo State. This will help to beef up activities, commercial activities in this land.
While fielding questions from journalists after the launch, Governor Okorocha explains why the airline is partnering with an already established operator.
Imo State is perhaps right now one of the fastest growing cities in Nigeria, and want to take advantage of the moment and by driving more traffic into Imo State. So we made this investment in airline to actually cement the whole idea that Imo State is a tourist state.
Some dignitaries present at the event lauded the initiative of the Imo State government.
All these policies, I think we've been alleviating the sufferings of the poor, unemployed youth in Imo State. For the partnership and for the excellent trust you have in that area, and we're sure this will benefit and for the people of Imo State and benefit the country as a whole.
This is the first of the 5 aircraft expected. According to the state government, the last 4 will arrive the state by April 2017 and will operate to routes which include Lagos, Abuja, and Benin.
When the news at 10 returns, our community reports tonight takes a look at how the residents of Kano State are coping with the rising cost of cooking gas and kerosene. Please join us again.